Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Kerbal Space Program. We had an almost launch in the last episode, but less disastrous than that sounds, because we just took one look at it and decided it was not space-worthy, rather than launching it and then finding out. I think the simplest solution is to take out one of these fuel thingies, because we now have 6 fuel canisters effectively, right? The old one had 4 of the smaller guys, and we now have 3 of the bigger guys that are twice as big. So the total size of the rocket had gone up, and its mass had shifted down, and so the top was not really connected to anything. But if it helps at all, I would love to attach some struts somehow to something, but I don't know what to attach to what. I could attach, I could put this on so that it's more stable on the launch pad, no problem. But the problem is we want it to stay stable in flight and not snap itself in half. And so I was thinking of I don't know, tying this bit to this bit or something, but they come apart at separate stages. That's not really going to help. I want to tie this bit to something down here, but again, that's a bad idea. Does this thing output electricity? It doesn't. Alright, I don't think that matters. We have enough electricity. Maybe it'll just be more steady as it is? Let's see how this looks on the launch pad. And taking out one fuel tank may have made a big difference. I'm a little worried it doesn't have enough to fly anymore. Look at it! It's wobbling like crazy. Maybe I need to get this central part lower. These things are attached too low on the... That's an idea. Let's recover that vessel again. And just move the booster rockets a bit higher so they're about level with the vectoring rocket. Just take here and move it up a bit, like that. But with symmetry, please. Oh, I see. No. I don't want 2 of these attached to the same decoupler. I want to pick up the decoupler and reattach it with symmetry, like that. Okay, that seems fine. Let's see if that looks any better on the launch pad. It does seem better. Having made this change, can we get away with putting the extra fuel back in just in case? Since it was more of a balance problem, I think. Let's see, it goes here. Save and launch. Yeah, actually this still looks fine. Okay, cool. So we throttle all the way up, we turn on the SAS, and double check all this. These are coming on, then this, then this. Looks good. Okay. And we don't have any contracts at the moment. I want to fix that because I have now put in a Terrier thing. Recover this vessel. Oh my goodness. Maybe I should have... I didn't have to recover the vessel, actually. I think I could have just returned to the Space Center, adjusted contracts, and then launched. But, oh well. So we want to test this out. Between 190 and 200,000 meters? Suborbital? That looks like... way above an orbital trajectory. Okay, fine. I guess I'll take it. We'll just aim a little higher, I guess. With the Terrier, we should be able to get a fair bit higher, to be fair. Alright, back to launch. Okay, still looks reasonably sturdy. Still have the science here as sort of a fake for the tourists, and also a nice way to get some science. Let's throttle all the way up, and finally get ready to launch after a lot of fussing around with details. In 3, 2, 1. Alright, it doesn't have a lot of zip, but it's going. It's a bit off center. Oh my gosh, turn on the SAS. Whew. We do have a fair bit of control over how much this thing pitches, which is nice. Yeah, this looks like a fine angle. It's actually perhaps a bit too far to the right. Okay, this is looking good. How's our fuel? Can I see that from here? Not easily. It's going a lot further north than I intended. But seems fine. Oh jeez, it is kicking around like mad. Can I like adjust this at all? Go a little bit further up, please? Man, SAS keeps taking me to here, which is not where I want to be. Oh, okay. Like that, please. But SAS just goes... I don't know. We're not getting high enough. Like, I can do this and point myself higher. Can I get SAS to keep me there? Yeah. Okay, well we have enough fuel that this ridiculous maneuver might not be a complete mess. We probably did not need to turn these engines down to 50%. They would have been fine at like 75, maybe even 100, I don't know. But also I tilted much too far to the right. Okay, let's get rid of that stage. And activate this stage. Whee! And we're actually... are we in space? We're not. Oh, shoot! I just staged rather than turning the thing off. Whoops. Well, that's gonna be exciting. It's probably gonna kill us soon. Maybe not. Maybe it's just gonna stay pushing us up. Oh my gosh, we are going high. How high is that? 175? Well... try to point up if you can. Ah. I don't think we're going to get quite as much height as we wanted. But I guess it's hard to say, since we're not really attached Oh, we won't be able to satisfy the contract because we don't have the Terrier rocket attached. We detached it. We did get up to the requisite height, but I accidentally staged the thing too soon. So we're not going to get credit for it. Well. Okay. Made a few mistakes on the way up, but we learned something. Can we, like, do a crew report? Is that still interesting to us? No, not really. Can we get some good science? Yeah, it's pretty good science there. Still get 25 for that. Might as well close the doors. Mystery Goo, you got anything to say? Yeah, 10 science, sure. Did we put any more science receptors on this thing? I guess not. Okay. Yeah, she can't EVA because we haven't upgraded that. Okay, well, we've got a while to wait before we make it all the way up here. I meant, when I accidentally staged, I meant to, what I was trying to do was throttle off the engine so that I could wait until we were out of the atmosphere to finish activating it, but, oh well. So I guess let's just go faster? Whew, that's fast. How high are we anyway? Slow down. Where can I see how high we are? Altimeter should be up here, but I guess I have to leave map view? Ah, we are re-entering the atmosphere now. Okay, well. Okay. Let's just deploy the parachutes now, so they'll go out as soon as it's safe, I guess. And keep an eye on our angle, but I did remember the heat shield, right? I guess not. Huh. Well, we lost some parachutes on that science module. Good thing we brought extras. Not sure what happened there. I should double check whether we still have the heat shield. I suspect we don't. Because that burned up really fast for no particularly good reason. Hang on, how high... Let's raise that to, like... come out a bit sooner, because we're coming in over a mountain. And I don't know if 1,000 meters would have given us enough time. Enough slowing down time. As it is, we ended up triggering them, like, way sooner than was necessary. But, I wanted to make sure we didn't slam into the side of a mountain before even deploying our chutes. That would have felt rather silly. And now we just have some time to wait before it lands. Shame that we lost the science capsule. Still not sure what was happening there, but as I said, I have to guess that it was something wrong with the heat shield setup. I saw white at the bottom of the ship, which is not the color I should have seen if it was heat shielded. That was the color of the science chamber, not the color of the heat shield. So yeah, here we are coming in. If we had waited till 1 kilometer to deploy our chutes, we would have slammed into the mountain, I think. This looks like the mountain is at least 1 kilometer tall. Certainly if we'd landed on that part of it, but even the part we're actually going to land on looks like probably is above 1 kilometer. Although it could be a bit close. Yeah. Time to open your chutes now! 10 feet above the ground. Okay, well, glad I thought to make that adjustment. Fine. Pick this vessel up. And imagine if there had been tourists in that science area, huh? What a nightmare that would have been for PR. So we're spending money on this and not really getting much out, but we're gaining knowledge is what we're gaining. Okay, so what needs to be fixed here? I need to check out the heat shield on the science area thingy. No, it's there. Did the parachutes? What could have blown up? Can I read the log? Did I forget to close the door after doing the observation? That could be it, actually. I don't remember closing the door. This science is dangerous, man. At least we won't be opening the door on the crew capsule. Okay, so let's make a couple of adjustments. Like, let's up these guys to like 75% thrust, so that they're a bit more effective. What else should we change? I feel like we should set these guys to 100 and then just adjust them during the flight. Because I want them, once we're in space, to be firing like crazy. While we're in the atmosphere, I don't want them to be wasting all their thrust. So let's set these to 100, and I'll tone them down to 75 while we're or maybe even 50 while we're taking off. But once we're in space and we've dropped the solid rocket boosters, I'll want these at full operational capacity. And you know what? It wouldn't have hurt to have a bit more fuel in this guy. Although, I mean, I guess the main problem was that we detached it too soon. I need to remember space is not for turning off or on the engine. It just sort of happens to act like that the first time you press it because you're staging the engine. Yeah, I mean, these heat shields are like not that interesting. We already have the one we need. I wouldn't mind some better wings. None of this is that interesting. Yeah. The only thing we could do is put more fuel in the orbital section, but I don't think we much need that. We just want to get into space with a Terrier engine still attached to the ship. And you know what? Since the whole point of this is testing the Terrier engine, let's go ahead and give it a bit more fuel. Right, that is what this is. Yeah, that's our engine. That's the decoupler. There's the fuel above it. Okay, fine. So this cost us 14,000 bucks, and we only get back like 2,000 or something. But hopefully it can actually get to space now. Can I, let's look at the Space Center here. Are there any other contracts we could pick up? No, we're already full on contracts. We have the Terrier and the tourists. Right, okay. Launchpad, go to that space jumper. Thrust looks like it's at 50%, which is perfect. That's what I wanted. SAS is on. The orientation on this thing is a little bit wacky, isn't it? Like it's not really. Let's clean this up and just point it in a way that is a little bit more reasonable, so that it's easy to pitch the direction that we want. Because it's actually, now that it's not symmetrical, it does matter which direction it's pointing on the launch pad. We want to be turning so that, like, how can I draw an axis here so that you guys can see what I'm talking about? We want, like, the way that we're looking at the rocket now, it makes sense to turn forward or back. But if we turn left or right, we're really struggling with the boosters that are to the left and right. We want to keep those two symmetrical with each other, not turn one of them ahead of the other. That's probably why it was fighting us so much, is we were turning the wrong direction. Now if we do this, then we're close. I feel like everything on the bottom could afford to rotate a little bit as well, but... Whoa, not like that. Which way is north? I think this is north, right? And so what we want is a bit like... I don't know, it doesn't really... There's no rotational scheme. Is there like a fine... a way to spin it a little bit? Turn off snap. Yeah, there we go. Whoa, no, not like that. Like that. Okay, let's make sure it's still vertical, since I did accidentally twist it a bit in that direction. Okay, so I think that north is going to be that... Wait, actually. That's the launch pad right in front of us, isn't it? And the launch pad is east of the... I don't know. We'll see how it looks. If it's wrong, we can bring it back and rotate it another 90 degrees. Yeah, this is exactly what we didn't want. Okay, so bring it back, spin it 90 degrees again. But, okay, at least I have some idea now why it was so hard to turn on some flights and not on others. It just finally occurred to me, like, oh, you know, you don't want to turn the rocket... I guess it's not so bad since we have these liquid thruster things here. And actually, having those means we're a little bit less asymmetrical than I was thinking. Does it matter? Which direction do we want to turn? Probably we don't want to fight the solid rocket boosters is what I'm thinking. It's not too bad to fight the other stuff, probably. But I feel like this is too many... Like, we might be better off with just a single liquid thing in the middle. I upgraded to these because they're the new one we unlocked, and they seem more efficient than what we had before. But they introduce another axis of symmetry to worry about, and they're going to make it hard to rotate north, because these guys are going to want to stay lined up with each other, I think. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I think since they're vectoring, it's probably okay to rotate with respect to them. Much better than it is to rotate with respect to the solid rocket boosters, anyway. So we're at 50% thrust on the vectoring ones. This stuff still looks right. We still have this science. Remember to close the doors next time. And I think we're ready to take off in 3, 2, 1, go. This is looking fine. Going straight up. Yeah. We're gaining a reasonable amount of speed. Still got a lot of fuel. Now is an okay time to start a little burn to the side here. It's actually doing the opposite of what I want. Okay, can we handle that? No. Okay, we are like incapable of turning. Alright, we'll wait for the solid rocket boosters to fall off and then try turning, see what happens. And if we're doing that, we might as well turn north instead of east, honestly. Like that. I'm having trouble, like, maintaining any kind of rotation here. Where are we? What's our... We're getting pretty high. Well, not yet. I don't know, we're headed about in the right direction. This seems fine. This wasn't the mission plan, but it's going okay. We want to go particularly high anyway, so... yeah, that's high enough to be, like, out of the atmosphere. And, now that that's done, we can jettison it. And this stage is not very efficient at the heights. Is that the end of the atmosphere there? No, that's just a mountain. Okay. I guess we're pretty much out of the atmosphere. I can go ahead and light this up as well. We need to get how high? 200,000? 190. Try to line this up so we're getting maximum efficiency out of our fuel here. How are we doing? We still have a lot of fuel. Just keep an eye on our orientation and occasionally check our maximum height. How's our fuel? Still a lot. I'm glad we doubled up though. How high are we now? We are definitely in space. And that's going to be plenty high, so let's cut the thrusters. And, okay. Cool. So we have plenty of fuel left. We could try to do like an orbital insertion burn or something. But this is a very, very high orbit. There's not really much reason to spend a bunch of fuel going into orbit anyway. Our goal is just to get high enough to test out the engine that we're carrying. So let's start by doing some science. Observe the bay. Yes. Good. We got science. Same science we would have gotten last time if we'd remembered to close the dang doors. What does the mystery goo think? It's still doing fine. Any crew reports to make? No. Alright, fair enough. Look, there's a light. I found the light. Okay. Cool. Normal. What happens if I push the button? SAS only, pilot only? Huh, alright. Well, I'll leave that alone. So we're going to be coming down... It says over there, but we'll have entered the atmosphere at some point. Although I guess we'll probably have gotten most of the way there by the time we enter the atmosphere. I was thinking that, like, often this arc is a little bit over-optimistic, and really you land far short of where it's pointing because you end up spending some of your velocity is through the atmosphere and slows you down a lot, but we'll have made most of that distance by the time we hit the atmosphere again, I think. Okay. So we just... The important thing to remember is just to test out this guy while we're up here. We did it! Okay. And we're pretty close now to our apoapsis. Not, like, amazingly close, but enough that, we get a pretty good effect out of a burn in the prograde direction. So let's just throttle up here and see what happens to our orbit. Yeah, it's a lot of work to extend an orbit that's this high up anyway. I'll just wait till we get a bit closer. Let's try to speed that up though. Okay, cool. Let's reorient to our direction of motion. And thrusters on again. This is the best I can do to widen the orbit at all, really, which is the best way to ensure we don't come in too steep. If we were... if we were at a reasonable height, like a third as high as we are, this would be plenty to get us into a stable orbit. But as it is, it's just sort of correcting some of our too aggressive what? Actually, I mean, it's almost getting us into orbit, which I don't much want. I want to be able to land. So cut. Let's just make sure we're not getting too high here. Yeah, we're still well within the realm of definitely going to land. So let's go ahead and use up the rest of our fuel here. Okay, it's getting a bit close. Alright, well, we're out of fuel, so there we go. Great. And let's just separate from that. Cool, look at that. We kind of have an orbit. If there were no air at all, we would continue around forever. But we're going to re-enter the atmosphere here, and that'll slow us down enough to bring us back in. Which is fine. It's great. We might even get to go all the way around the world once. I have to say I don't think so. I'm not sure where we took off from. Is that the Space Center? I'm not really sure where it is. But I don't think we're going to make it all the way around. Cool. But it's definitely a good flight. Tourists would be thrilled with this, I'm sure. But you and me, we're a little bit impatient, and so we're going to time warp through this at 50 times speed. We don't want to wait like a whole day. And it's detected that we're entering the atmosphere, and has therefore turned off time warp. Fine. Why is this, like, get out of here? I don't need to see that. Take it away. I can't make it go away. I'm trying to orient towards that. There we go. That is facing backwards. Did I accidentally set something as my navigation target somehow? Oh wow, you can jettison a heat shield. I don't want to do that, but it's cool to know that I can. Keep the heat shield pointed straight down. We're coming in. Bay doors are definitely closed this time. Well, you see the sun just skip there? That was a little weird. Oh, and we're going like 2,400 meters per second with regard to the ground. Yeah, so this is fast enough that we could win the heat shield contract if we had been tested. If we had taken it. Whoa! Don't burn up any of that stuff. That's important. Okay, I gotta keep my eye on the ball on this heat shield stuff. To make sure nothing else is taking the brunt of the impact. Okay. Still losing the science. What the heck happened there? I'm not sure. Somehow it's just getting really, really hot. Maybe I need a radiator? Like, we're soaking up a lot of heat this way and it's going through the ship and... Like, what are the temperature readings here? Can I check? Is one of these about? I don't know. I don't see anything. Whoa, it spins fast. Holy cow. Wow, we went up real high. And we are just coming screaming in, like, forever. It's a good thing that we're coming in so shallow, because we need all this time to burn off our extra speed. But I wish we could do it with the science pod attached. Maybe I should invest in antennas so that I can transmit some of that science back home instead of just blowing it up over and over. There goes some debris. Okay. Well, now that we're at just 1 kilometer per second, things seem to have cooled off. Where are we planning to come in? Is it ground under there, or what? Yeah, looks like it. Okay, so we're gonna have to adjust the parachutes again to like 2,500. Where's the other parachute? Here it is. And adjust this one to like 3,800. This is excessive, but and I'll just deploy them now. Wow, that slowed me down quite a bit. Okay. I need to learn how to land a little bit better. Now I'm like doing okay at getting up into space, but coming back down is the hard part in a lot of ways. Even in real life, as in Kerbal Space Program. But you know, we got our contract, and if we'd had the heat shield contract, we could have gotten that one too. Still a little bit not quite there on space tourism. Oh, let's speed up the fall. We don't need to wait this long. Not quite ready for space tourists yet, but that's okay. That's why we have these practice flights, so that we can do them before the space tourists arrive. And then when they do arrive, we can carry them a bit more safely. But I still don't know. I think the problem is that, like, you have to keep the angle just right to make sure that the heat shield is what's soaking up all the re-entry stress, and the angle I was coming in at was occasionally a bit to the side, and that let the sides of the science vessel heat up, I guess? I don't know. It would be good to be able to see, like, how hot the science vessel was. And whether it was internal temperature that would it help to have a radiator, or what? And was the problem the stuff that I had on the outside of it? I don't think so. The only thing on the outside of it really was the well, actually, the mystery goo exploded. Right? We had some on this, and it fell off, I think. So maybe something similar happened to the parachute that was on the side of the science bay? Not sure. Okay, well, we landed. We're continuing to not learn any science, but we did make some cool new milestones of, like, having what could have been, you know, it was an orbital flight. We didn't do a full orbit. We were definitely in sort of a partial orbit. And we succeeded at our contract, so that means we have space for another one, right? Where are those? Here we are. Test the heat shield in flight over Kerbin. We've been doing that anyway. I'll take it. So they wanted to go quite fast, and previously we weren't sure we were ever going that fast. But we did that this very flight, so I'll take it. Yep. And maybe in the next flight, Probably still not time to take any tourists just yet. They're pretty fragile. You don't want to mess them up. In the next flight, we'll do, I don't know, something sort of like what we did here, but maybe try to actually be in an orbit and try to figure out what is going on with the science. Like, why can't we get that to stay? I don't know. Stay tuned and find out next time what is the deal with science. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.